Yo, what's up, guys? David Fox, the Black Belt Realtor. So, we are covering today another long form content about. um, today we're talking about how to reduce the overall cost of your home through something that you might not think. But these conversations come up just through, um, really, honestly, just days in the life, right? Like I talk to clients, buying clients, prospective clients, selling, listing clients, and they come up, and I'm like, oh, well, that's. I guess I thought everyone knew that, right? You kind of get in the jiu-jitsu realm, we refer to this as black belt brain. You know, something that you've known for so long, it's axiomatic. You just kind of assume that everyone else kind of understands that. So, what I want to talk about today is is the true cost or reducing the overall costs of your home ownership. And it's going to be through a caveat that you may not think. So, when typically the buying process goes something like people are, they want to get the best deal. They want to calculate the purchase price and get a good interest rate, and then taxes and insurance. And don't get me wrong, all of that matters. Interest rate absolutely matters. Purchase price certainly matters. Getting taxes, bruh, they matter, right? Like they definitely matter. But you're talking about, like, let's say taxes. You know, you get them however you try to find a place to maybe a county or a city with a little bit lower taxes. You're talking about $100 a month, maybe. You know, spread maybe two, and interest makes a difference as well. I mean, interest can make a huge difference. I know a lot of people at the time of this is 24. You know, people are locked in. Like I'm one of them. I think we have a, I don't know, it's two something under 3% interest rate on ours. You know, like that's for me to buy my house and resell it, or excuse me, sell my house and rebuy the exact same house at today's, you know, I think they're sixes, mid sixes right now. God willing, they're coming down now, but mid sixes, and um, that would my payment would go up. It'd probably go up $600 or $700 a month. You know, which is it's not like a small amount. You know, I mean, you're talking about 7, 8 grand a year. That's a couple nice vacations, depending how you vacation, I suppose. So that's important. But then people will, when it's time to renovate their house or do repairs in their house, like this is where the cost of home ownership. This is where you truly keep it down. So I want to tell you a story, a little bit, a couple stories of my realization with this. So I do not have traditionally. I didn't come up on job sites and construction sites. I didn't come up on any of that. I grew up in a city called LaSalle, Michigan, and went to Ida High School. Went to Monroe Middle for like a year, and in high school they had wood shop. Actually, Monroe Middle at the time had wood shop as well. It was sweet. You could make like these sconces, and you'd have like little scroll saw. And I thought this is so cool. Like I'm Bob the Builder, man. But that was kind of much the extent of it. And then I know when we got my first apartment in Northville, Michigan, I was like, man, I don't even know how to hang stuff on the wall. So then I had to find out a little bit about drywall anchors and what those were. And then I was like, well, drywall anchors, you kind of need a drill for. So then where do I get this drill from? And mind you, this was 2008. So like YouTube wasn't what it was today. Smartphones weren't what they are today. And so it wasn't just as simple as like pulling something out. I suppose I could have like logged on to my desktop, which sounds crazy to say, desktop to YouTube something or how to do it. But it was really more just like you go and have the conversation with the guys at the store and say, hey, how do these work? Can you walk me through kind of how to do it a little bit, or talk to someone who knows it? And then I learned how to. I remember I was so proud. The first thing I hung on my wall was two of my paintball guns. And of course, I wasn't married at the time, but I hung my paintball guns on the wall. So the first thing you see are these AR looking like paintball guns. And I was like, yeah, I hung those. Like, yeah, that's right, I hung those. And it was just like the dumbest thing to take pride in. And then, a little bit more time went on, and then we ended up, I think I got married. We moved out of there we rented a house in Livonia, and at like 5 in Levan area. And then more things needed to happen. So then we decked out the basement in jiu-jitsu mats. So the mats, they were puzzle mats. lay those on the floor. That's simple. But then I wanted to get wall mats as well, and I was like, well, how do I, I kind of knew how to anchor stuff into the wall, but with these mats, I wanted to find the studs, and I was like, oh man, I got to get a stud finder. How do you find the stud? Got to get a stud finder, and so you just piece by piece, like it's very much like I liken home repairs as a video game. And so with each, as the game develops, more tasks arise. And when they arise, you may not have the tools you need at the time. My daughter, who's currently waiting outside of my office to play Luigi's Mansion, she tried to speed play through Let's Go Pikachu, which is effectively, for us millennials, it's just Pokemon Yellow. That's all it is. And she's like, oh, well, I'm going to get Mewtwo for Landon, little brother. She's going to, which I think is so cool. She's like, well, I can't get to, I think it was Fuchsia City or Viridian City. And I said, well, honey, you got like 3 trainers you got to beat there. Like, you still got to be. She's like, what? I can't get through that. I said, yeah, you can't just skip over some of these things. And so that's kind of what it's liking. So with each project that you want to undertake, and I've done this as I've gotten busier now with the Jiu-Jitsu Academy and busier with, it's always, now it's more of a conversation of how much time is this going to save me versus how much is it going to cost me. And I think a huge pivotal question to ask is, if I fail miserably at this, what is the worst case scenario? Worst case Ontario, for those who get that joke. And that has instilled a lot of confidence in me. So if I go to take a swing, when I got into drywall repair, right? If you fail miserably at drywall repair, like patching it, whatever, worst case is you just have a really ugly looking wall. No one's gonna get hurt, right? And here's you can fail miserably at it, and you can always be like, I hate it, I'm gonna hire someone anyway. But give it your shot, give it your best shot first. And building costs, most tradespeople I know are pushing, they're on their way to 100 an hour. Like if they're coming out to charge you, they'll charge, I mean, to get a carpenter, they're gonna count you. There was some work I had quoted, I was like, dude, how much is it for the second spot at Metro? They're like, I was like, how much is it? How many days is that gonna? They were trying to net like $1,000 a day. I'm like, man, dog, I'll just do it. Like drop ceiling or some, I can't remember what it was. So whatever project you're gonna undergo, simple things like framing, trim work, super easy. Now you got to get the tools. You need a basic understanding of how to use tools. That I did have from, like how to use a circ saw. I also had a lot of, I skipped some portions between high school and opening up Metro. Like I spent 5 years in the trade work, commercial trades, but seeing and watching people do things. So that helps. But we have the luxury, and it was not uncommon at all to, at the time, I think it was like 2015 or whatever, we would get sent out on jobs and I would be like, really no instruction or some new hardware. They're like, hey, go put this on. And so I would have to YouTube this or, come with instructions, but those suck. So I would spend a lot of time watching YouTube. And that is immensely beneficial. So you watch YouTube, and then you can watch. You're going to spend hours doing some of this. Could spend hours if you want to do some flat work, concrete work. You're going to spend hours doing that, right? If learning how to do it, there's a process. If you want to do some trim work, look up hours on how to do it, like how to install it. Find out the difference between plumb and level. What are some really basic tools that I need as a homeowner? I'll give punch list right away. You need a drill, you need a screwdriver, channel locks, snips, needle nose pliers, 6-way razor blade. A level would be good. Everyone should know how to paint, man. I mean, painting, you will make your eyes water. Getting a quote of how much it is to paint, just paint. Like painting a house is ridiculous. And then you get into articulate paint, like decals or stripes or whatever. Learn how to paint. Learn how to tape off and paint. Look into spray painting a little bit. Like these windows right here, I believe every window in my house now has been painted white. and they were wood grain. So there's a process to that, right? Like you gotta sand it down, expose it, probably prime it, whatever, and it's a very simple thing to do. So you get more and more familiar with these things, and you will absolutely make mistakes. But the cost of um, trade work now is so and I'm not going to say inflated, but it is so expensive that you could probably try to tackle something twice or three times and get it right, or maybe even four times and get it right on your fourth try, and then still be saving money in the than hiring someone out. And so the benefit of that is, a lot of times a huge expense to these things is you're buying tools, right? I remember I bought my first drill set, like real drill, big boy drill set, not like a homeowner, Ryobi edition, but like I bought like a combo. I'm a rigid guy because of their warranty, and it's held up through trade work, so that's why I know. Sorry, Milwaukee boys, but we broke more Milwaukees that weren't covered under warranty, and our rigids held up, and if they broke, they covered it. So sorry. Um, Augers, I'll give you that on the augers. Get some tools, and tools are going to be expensive. A chop saw could be expensive. I mean, it's been probably 8 years now. I bought my first table saw from Mel's Exchange in Taylor, and it was just this $50 like box unit. Like I had to use it on, like if I wanted to use it, I had to set it on a table, but it did the job. I kind of had to understand. I had to make sure the fence was like really right because it would move and slip out, so I couldn't put too much pressure on it. It was just old and busted, man. And then I had to actually tape the table, put painter's tape on the table because it was all like metallic and scratchy, and I didn't want it to destroy the finish of the wood. Like, but that was $50, and it did the job until it was time to upgrade. For a good portion of what you're doing, it's really simple to do those things. I think another thing that's simple is I'm looking now in my office, doors. Learning how to install a door, or at the very least like adjust a door, swap the hardware on doors, is super simple. Very simple electrical, like changing a ceiling fan, or changing a ceiling fan. Very fundamental plumbing stuff, like how to snake a toilet, how to swap out the guts of a toilet, right? It's like a probably $35 in a full repair kit for like the heavier duty one. And to have a plumber come out, that's just to come to your door is probably $100, and so then you get into like simple things like faucets. How to swap a faucet's not difficult. Crescent sockets and crescent wrenches I would recommend, like every homeowner have as well. um, the These are just things that you're like, Fox, you're a real estate agent, what are you talking, like, why are we talking about trade work? Because it a little bit of time, and like I don't understand dropping six figures into a home, two, three, four, 500,000 into a home, and not understanding how any of the shit works. Like, not understanding how to repair any of it. Now, it's one thing. I know plenty of people, they're like, dude, you know what? Some execs, big time business owners, CEOs, whatever, they're like, for me to spend 3 or 4 days to figure it out, it's worth me just hiring someone for $2,000, because I could go back to what I do and actually make that much money. Okay, fine, that's you. I'm also going to throw this in there. I understand probably better than most that time is money. But I look at this, I have a tendency towards this stuff. I enjoy it, right? I love putting AirPods and put a podcast in, get to painting, put a podcast in, kind of work some stuff through, and you can it's active recovery. So I can also think I use trade work and things like this to simple projects, right? We're not talking big ass rehabs because that can be stressful. But simple thing. Like flooring is another one. Luxury vinyl plank flooring is the easiest damn thing to install. Period. Like every homeowner can do it. Shoe molding, every homeowner can do it. Baseboard, every homeowner can do it. So as while I'm doing these things, I can think about other projects or maybe headaches or problems that I've got going on. I was like, oh, yeah, that I use it as active recovery to get my mind thinking about the solution, and then, you know, it's kind of like I don't want to say meditation, but it's an active recovery process for me. Now, if the entire thing start to finish stresses you out and you just want nothing to do with it, well then just understand that's going to be a really either marry somebody who's good at it, and I know a lot of women who do that. They're like, oh, I just got my man does it. And if you're a man and you hate it, then um, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like just be prepared to like pay through the nose for a lot of this stuff, because the unfortunate thing is the trades it's a perilous thing, you know. The good workers are expensive, and the cheap workers are even more expensive because you're going to be doing it twice, so it's like a really tricky thing to find someone who's competent at their work. Maybe they offer that warranty, maybe they don't, whatever. And that, so as far as reducing the overall cost of home ownership, it's worth your time to invest some resource in these things. I think even Home Depot's got some workshops, like they can do simple things like that, setting tile, doing backsplash, some fundamental plumbing, like we talked, fundamental electrical, swapping light switches, um, you know, even refinishing hardwood floors is not the end of the world, to do. Painting tub liners, reglazing tile. What's some other stuff? Installing a vanity. Just off the top of my head. You get into bigger ticket things, roofing, yeah, that can go south. It's probably worth hiring a roofer maybe that comes with the warranty or offers the warranty. If you're doing, I'm thinking out loud to reduce the overall cost of ownership with these things. And you then take pride in it. I mean, there's something fulfilling and saying, yeah, like before and afters, and this is something I did. We didn't just hire it out, it's something I did that we did, and you take a lot of pride in that. So, guys, I hope that helps. I could belabor this like a long time. I do have, ironically, I'm a licensed builder as well. So all that means is I took the class and I passed the test, right? So you learn nothing, you learn virtually nothing about how to build shit in the builder's course. You just learn the laws and, so the code, you learn a lot of code. You learn a lot of that. But as far as like the framing and things, that came from my experience in trade work, actually working, doing the work, ironically, right? The guys doing it aren't all necessarily licensed, and the guys that are licensed can't necessarily do it. And so that is, if you have any questions about anything, I could, do my best to direct you in that. Obviously, if you're looking to buy, I'm out of Wayne County Michigan. Also service Livingston, Oakland, and Monroe, hometown Monroe, rocking it. So any of those counties, if you're looking to buy or sell real estate, hit me up. I'll be happy to work with you. Kind of walk you through the entire process, start to finish, and see if that makes sense for you. And I'll be honest. If it makes sense for you, great. We'll rock it. If it doesn't, I've got a good friend of mine, one of our blue belts actually. She scratched that. She had purple. I can't remember. She's paying $700 a month in rent. Any house I'm going to get her into, she's going to be paying for minimum, probably $400 a month in taxes, minimum. Sometimes $800. So I'm like, if you're not in a hurry to move, don't move. So like I understand, like it's a small get, right? It's a small apartment, but the rent's reflective of that. So I was like, just stack that paper and save for when you're ready to move. So I'll shoot you straight because that's I find that's the best success for everything. So, guys, David Fox, a Black Belt Realtor. Looking forward to working with you and your family.